Morgan, could you tell me a little bit about what was going on in your life before we started working together in Dark Divine?
I have had a business for, well, before we started working together, so over 10 years, I've had a business, and I just feel like no matter what I was saying or doing, that it just wasn't going out to people on social media. And so I was getting very frustrated that I was not seen, that I was saying the wrong things or not saying the right things or something. And that is why I chose to start Dark Divine, because I knew that there was some kind of misalignment somewhere with visibility and uh what I was saying or doing. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember whenever I was on your podcast and you had mentioned something about like authenticity is really big for you. And I think that that's really normal for us to feel a mismatch of like who we know ourselves to be, but then how we're also just like projecting that into the world. It's a mind fuck because like in the rest of your life, it's almost like you don't care. But when it comes to business, it's like the ultimate initiation. So what's my favorite? My favorite
Yeah.
thing to do.
Yep.
Okay, cool. So was there anything specific that happened that made you know you needed to reach out, or was it like a feeling, or tell me a little bit about that.
It it was mostly just the feeling like like my past business coach that I had had years and years and years ago just told me, like, oh, you're the best kept secret, and I'm like, I don't want to be a fucking secret anymore, and it was just that frustration of like, yeah, I am the best kept secret, but I don't want to be. I want everyone to know about my business. I want everyone to know about me. And I just felt like I've been doing this, like I said, my business, I've been doing this for like 12 years now. So it was 11 years. And I was like, I've been doing this long enough that my business should be a household name in my niche, like
Mhm.
it should be, and it's not. So I need to figure out why.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And it's not like you didn't have success already. Like
No.
you
Yeah.
did. It just didn't feel like it. Is that like
I didn't feel like I was where I could be, and I knew that there was some kind of blockage somewhere. I always felt like I was moving forward and then hitting a wall. And
mm-hmm.
like tiptoeing forward a little bit more, hitting a wall. And
Yep.
And I think it was one of the things you had said, like leading up to Dark Divine, where, your marketing was like, do you feel like you're shouting into the void, or do you feel like you're hitting a wall? And I was like, that's me.
Yes. Hey, that is the power of really good messaging.
Yes.
Well, you kind of already answered my next question around like how you knew that I was the person that you wanted to reach out to. I think it's like a mishmash of all of these, probably a bunch of experiences like stacking. But yeah, is there anything else?
Oh yeah. So your ad for like Healing the Witch Wound booklet or something
Yeah,
popped
the
up in my
workbook.
Facebook. That was
Mhm.
my first introduction to you. And I downloaded the workbook. I loved it. And then I started stalking you on the
Yay!
internet. And I loved your energy. You did a couple of like little free classes, and I was able in like an hour of a free class. I had like 4 pages of notes. So there was just so then I think I reached out to you and was like, and I used my podcast as an in, because that's what I can do. So I was like, I have a podcast. Do you want to be on it? And it was purely selfish for me. Like I was like,
Love that.
I just want to talk with Astrid and like, start that bridge like between us or something, that
Yeah.
connection. And then it was like sitting down with you on Zoom and talking. I was like, this is it. Like I loved your energy. I love the way that you were just like you say things and you're like, because I think at one point in the Zoom, and this was probably the moment that I realized that I was like, oh, well, without sharing too much, that you do in your one-on-ones or whatever, like what kind of advice can you give to somebody that wants to heal their witch wound? And you were like, I'll share anything everywhere. I don't care. And I was like, oh my God. And so I loved your openness and your energy and just, I think from the very beginning, at least from my end, I really felt connected to you and the way that you presented information.
I love that. Oh my God, I'm taking it all in. I didn't know that I was in for all this today, but I'll take it. I love that. Yeah, for real. I just don't think that you can like give too much away for free. Like I just don't believe in that at all. And I do remember, I think it was the magnetic AF class that you were on that was the most. And the thing I still remember it. And you know my memory is garbage. But I do have a photographic memory, so I remember seeing this comment. So it said something along the lines of how like you work too hard, like you wanted ease, and it seems like whenever you stop working hard, the results stop too. And I think that that's something that you've really started to experience in yourself over the past year. Like, yes, of course you still work hard, but there's also been a lot more downtime. You've hired people. I think you've hired two or three people since we started working together, which was one of your original goals. And I mean, just seeing you give yourself that ease and know that like it's not going to all burn down if you give yourself the space. That also doesn't mean don't work hard. Like we love working hard. We're fucking psychopaths. But I remember that and I wanted to mention that because it makes me really happy to see like that all play out over time. What um what kind of results have happened since we started working together? I know you have a lot. You don't have to say them all. Just like off the top of your head, the things that really stand out most to you.
The first thing was very quickly from I think our first because at the time when I signed up for Dark Divine, there was you had like a one-on-one thing. Like it was like a bonus. We get like a one-on-one to kick it off. And that was the first time I was ever able to truly vocalize my goals because like I had hidden my goals down inside and I was almost like ashamed of them of like my business goals. And so you were I just remember you sitting there like just say it. Just say it. Just say it. What do you want? And I was like, ah.
Was it really that aggressive though? Honestly, it sounds like it could have been, but no, I remember that. Is that the time that you first admitted that you wanted to be a millionaire?
Yeah, I wanted to be
Yep.
$1 million business. That was my first admittance of that. Yes.
Yep, I
So
remember that too.
just even being able to put that in perspective and share it with my team and share it with my husband works with me in the business as well. So being able to share it with him and the team, it created substance of the business. Like, oh, we have something to work for. And sharing that with the other team members, they were all like, oh, okay, well, yeah, let's do it. And I was like, oh my God, y'all don't hate me? And they're like, no. And I'm like, okay, cool. So yeah, I've been able to I've hired two people. I have a personal assistant now, which I fucking love because that's just that to me, that's like, oh my God, I've done it. Like I've hit that next level to be able to have an assistant. Um,
An
the
in-person assistant too, not
yes.
just like not a virtual assistant, which is, I mean, valid. Have a virtual
Yeah.
assistant, but like I think that there's something quite fucking luxurious about having an in real life personal assistant.
Yeah.
Such a big
Sales,
thing.
yeah, sales for our business. There's a lot of shit going on in the world, and our sales are still trending upward. So that's been it. I think the biggest thing for me though is even my husband has said to me, "You're a different person now. Like I see it in you." And because of that, when I want to do something crazy, I am able now to voice it to him. And as soon he's very grounded, and he's kind of like, "What do you mean?" And I'm like, "Do you trust me?" And he's like, I do." And like, and I see what happens when you are just allowed to be free, just roam free and do your thing. He goes, "So I can't even argue with you right now." And I'm like, "You can't because you see what happens." So I think that's actually been the biggest thing is the people close to me have been like, "What have you done? Like your energy is different." And now, even a year and a half later, um, I get messages from customers like, I don't know what y'all are doing, but there's a shift and it's fucking amazing. Just keep doing it. And I'm like, okay, cool.
I love that shit. And yeah, I actually do remember the dynamic beforehand. You know, my dogs are always like wanting to go in and
Mhm.
out as soon as I turn this thing on. So, excuse me. But I do remember that dynamic between you guys. And I think that before he really was the one in the driver's seat, like making most of the decisions. And there was that sense that you had that you wanted more, um, but almost like only if daddy says okay, you know, like that kind of thing. And I also remember the first time he trusted you on a move like this and was satisfied. Very satisfied because it just flows. That's what you're in flow, but you're also in command. Like he wants to say yes to you. That is like such a big deal. Such a big deal. It's not something we talk about very often, especially not like in marketing and stuff like that. But I think that that's one of those hidden gems that you don't expect that to happen, and then it does. And then also the sex life gets fiery, and like all the, all of that, romance or intimacy starts rushing back. It's like total byproduct of all of this. So yeah, I'd have to agree. You getting an assistant and then him starting to move like that, definitely my favorite of your results too. Um, Except for also the most recent one is really pretty cool too. So
Oh no, I was just thinking, I was like, oh shit, no, my business was featured by Inked magazine. So
yeah.
that is like, I don't know if that's what we were talking
Yeah,
about.
that's the one I was talking about. I didn't know if you wanted to say it or
Oh
not.
yeah, no, no, my business or one of my products was featured by Inked magazine, and we have a business feature coming up sometime within the next like month or so. We have a brand feature in on Inked magazine's website, and that has been. I used to be a tattoo artist, and I never look. I wasn't great. Okay, I was not a great tattoo artist. I can admit that now. My heart just wasn't in a lot of it, but like so to sit back and like look at past me and be like, hey, we were featured by Inked magazine. It's like, shut the fuck up. Like my business now was. So yeah, no, that was huge.
It is. I'm also now thinking about how while we were doing Dark Divine last year, you put on that event for the first time as
Hmm.
well, and you just celebrated your second one.
Yep.
And so just there's just so many things that you've really just given yourself permission to do and then have the confidence to do. Like follow through on it. You obviously have to have confidence to do what you've done so far, anyways, but taking those extra steps out like that is a really big deal. Was there anything that I said or did that made the biggest impact for you that you can remember?
Yeah, I mean, I carry I've messaged you numerous times and told you I hear your voice in the back of my head when things sometimes when things pop up. The biggest ones are celebrating and like that was always the biggest thing for me was I do the things. I love doing the things, but the minute that anybody would say, "Hey, you did well doing the things," it was almost like a like we don't talk about it. We just I did it and then we move on and we do the next thing. So you embody the energy, like take the praise, take the compliments, celebrate them. Like that was a huge shift for me was and it was opening the door opened for me to like I had confidence because I do the shit I do because I know I can do it. But I never realized how deep that runs.
Mhm.
And so you really helped me with understanding my confidence and bringing it to the surface of like now I'm going to do this because this is who I am and I know I have the power to do it. Whereas before I think I was just doing it without really digging deep into that. Those two things, the celebration and the embodiment have been the two things that have stuck
Yeah.
with me.
I love that for you.
Mhm.
The other piece was I remember this was what I was trying to remember just a second ago is the meeting that you came on and you were like, I think I'm girl boss too close to the sun. And you were like terrified of being burnt out. And I think you did experience a burnout since Dark Divine.
Um, I think what happened to me earlier this year was I don't think it was it. I had a lot of like external stuff going on that affected me and like kind of triggered my anxiety and triggered some physical issues within me. But it was almost like it was external issues that had I mean, eventually I learned how to stand up and stand on my own 2 feet. But I think for me, it was just overwhelm at the time. There was a lot of like little things that all came rushing in at the exact same time. So, yeah, that's what happened earlier this year. And I don't think either that, like, I remember when I got on and said I had Girl Boss, that was before the first event.
Yeah.
And I will say that this event was twice the size, twice the responsibility, and I handled it like a champ this time. So like
Hell yeah.
I look back at, oh my God, I'm so different from even last year's planning and executing of this big local event. So yeah.
Yes, I love that for you. Do you think that the way that you, like, let's say, handled the burnout this time was wildly different?
Oh yeah, no, and I even can sense it sooner now. So like I have been able to fine tune into myself and, detect subtle shifts that I'm like,
Yes.
oh, if I don't rest, I'm gonna regret this later. So
Yeah.
prioritizing rest is something I never thought I would do because I'm just a go, go, go person. But now I understand how I have to have rest. Rest is just as important for me to get shit done because if I'm burned out, I can't do what I do. So I have to rest. And now I do it, I indulge. I will say that from Dark Divines, like I get blankets and snacks and like I bury myself and I tell everyone, do not mess with me for at least 2 hours. I'm gonna watch a movie, a chick flick or something. And I get in there
Yeah.
and because I understand it's sacred now.
Yes, not a threat. That makes me wonder if you actually did burn out this year. I don't
I
know.
don't think I did. What I had earlier, I don't think was burnout at all. Because what I had earlier this
It was
year
just a flu.
was, yeah, it was not. It was shit that was out of my control. And that's what I don't do well with is when things are very much out of my control.
Yeah, all of
Um,
us.
yeah. So that was what happened earlier this year was a lesson for me in re releasing and letting go and accepting that sometimes you've done everything you can do. So now you have to let shit unfold in front of you. And for someone like me who loves control a lot, it was just a little harder of a lesson. And I think that's why it physically affected me the way that it did. Because kept going and my spirits were high and everything. I think 100% now looking back, it was a lesson on releasing, and that's what I had to do this year was just release and let go.
Yeah, I love this, and I love like your willingness to be transparent about this because I think that a lot of people have this idea in their head that like once you reach a certain level of success, that like you're just gonna be good, right? And like I think you even had that, right? I've definitely had that. Um, but it doesn't you're still fucking human and you're still people say new level new devil, but from my experience it's almost always the same devil. It's just like a different mask, right? And once you kind of understand those little unlocks, little cheat codes, then it makes it like not devastating. It makes it to where you can easily use it. You're an alchemist, right? And a fucking witch. So why wouldn't you use it? So yeah, I was just thinking about how beautiful it is to know that like, yeah, you could still have everything you want and you're still going to experience things. It's just how you experience them changes, where it doesn't take you out. Because that's the problem, right? Before the
Yes.
burnout like take you out, even though you
Yes.
know you have to do things. Too bad, so sad. You're burnt out. you know,
Yep.
it doesn't have to be like that. Okay, cool. Thank you. Um, and just finally, what was the experience like working with me in Dark Divine?
Oh, I looked forward to it every week. I looked forward to the videos dropping. I still to this day, I bought a huge notebook for it, and anything else that I go to do as far as like shadow working or business still goes like journaling, the rich bitch ritual every week, all of it goes into that
Yes.
notebook. So I have it all together. So yeah, I looked forward to the videos every week. I looked forward to the journal prompts, to the exercises you gave us, our weekly calls. I looked forward to those. Um, I just my life is completely different than it was, a year and a half ago. And the stuff that I learned in Dark Divine, I carry with me forever. And it really has like it was the best money I think I've ever spent, to be honest. Just because of how much how good you are too. I mentioned before I've had I've had business coaches in the past, and I thought like looking back, I'm like, man, I had that like for years, and then just a year and a half working with you has been like 10 years of empowerment and everything. It's been amazing.
You're gonna make me cry, girl. Do you think that the community element was something that you were expecting to like want? Because what I find is that most people, whenever they come in, they are not even looking for a sense of community. They're not looking for that. Like that's not something you would buy, but then it just like comes in and it like shocks you.
Yeah, no, I loved, especially like the first group that we had. I loved getting to know, I think we had all women. So I loved getting to know those women. Um, I loved hearing the updates from them every week too, like, how much they had grown or the breakthroughs that they had. And for the most part, like, most of them, I still, like, we still follow each other on social media. We still reach out every once in a while, comment on each other's things. So, it was unexpected because I think at first I was like, oh my gosh, I have to just share my deepest, darkest shit in front of these people that I don't know. And so I think for the first few meetings, you're just like, I don't, because this was also almost not my first introduction to you or one of your programs, but I think a lot of people had done programs with you before.
Mm-hmm.
So they were jumping in first one, like, this is this and this is this. And I'm just sitting there like, I mean, I'm just supposed to share. And by the end of it, we were all celebrating each other. We were all in each other's like stuff, and
Yeah.
and it was great. I loved it.
And I'm obsessed with you, and I'm so happy that you did this with me. Now I'm gonna go cry
No.
and celebrate and just receive all the loves. Thank
Mhm.
you so much. This means the world to me.
Yeah, no problem. I love getting to know you, and you know that when I reach out, like, or when anything happens,
Yes.
even to this day, I'm sending you voice messages at like midnight on Instagram.
I love that
Like
shit.
I just had a breakthrough.
Yep, I love that shit. Like I think people don't realize how like genuine I am whenever I say like I live for this shit. Like I legit send me midnight messages anytime. I fucking get off on that. Okay. Um, is there anything is there anything that you would want people to know about Dark Divine or like any if anybody's like thinking about joining, what do you, I mean, do you have a word for them? You don't have to, but if you have a word for them, that would be
Yeah.
lovely.
I mean, I actually do talk about Dark Divine all the time on my podcast. I refer to it as I basically did a deep dive into shadow work to get to know myself and run my business better. So I mean, and even getting to know and understand dark divine feminine energy was, I mean, it blew my world wide open. Um, so it definitely, like for me, it was one of the biggest changes I've ever seen that even people around me have noticed in me. They're like, there's something different about you. And I'm like, yeah, I'm me now. Hi, how are you doing?
I love that. Yeah,
Yep.
exactly. Exactly. That's so hot. I love it. All right, then. Well, I guess that will do it.
Okay.
I don't want to say goodbye, but ta-ta. That's what I've been saying. Like, ta-ta for now. I'll talk to you on Instagram.
Yep.
See you soon. Okay. Mwah. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Bye.
Bye.